Jordan, and I've bobbed up to the top floor. I've got my breath back, and no, I haven't, have I? Anyway, somebody who hopefully has got his breath is my very, very special guest here today, Alfie Bow. Hi, Alfie. How are you?
Steve.
You're one of those guests that when we said that you were coming in, everybody was like, "Oh, it's Alfie Bow coming in! Oh, wow!" They started combing their hair,
Really?
putting perfume on, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Oh man, wow.
So here you are. So it's nice to have you here today.
It's lovely to be here. Thank you.
You have a new album out. It's out on Friday. As time goes by,
Yes.
and it's kind of going back to a kind of forgotten era for music, isn't it?
You know, it's funny. I mean, people call it a forgotten era. People call it a golden era. It's interesting. I like to refer to it as a golden era because it was a golden era for music. It was a golden era for the music industry. It was the birth of the music industry, as far as I'm concerned. Really, record labels started up, recording artists started putting out songs and albums. Radio stations were developed, as well, and so
Yeah, of course.
it turned the whole world around as far as music goes. And my album really is a nod to that era. It's a nod to the great music catalogue that we have in these songs. The melodies are beautiful, they're romantic, they're sentimental, it's emotional. But it's also a nod to mainly for me, it's a nod to the artists that pioneered them. The people like Cab Calloway, Billie Holiday, Frank Sinatra even, back, I know he's a bit later, but those guys really did something powerful. A lot of these artists that performed this music were, black African American guys from New Orleans and women from New Orleans who came up to New York, set up clubs like Harlem, the Savoy, many other clubs that were there, and started performing with a bit of ridicule because of their race, their colour of the skin, and it was harsh. It was a really harsh world back then. Although that was broken down with the power of the music, people were allowed to connect, were allowed to let loose, were allowed to be a little bit wild. It was in between two world wars, not long after Prohibition. People wanted to risk,
Yeah.
and they did.
So I'm guessing there's a slightly different take on these songs, but with your powerfully developed tenor voice. So I'm guessing you're quite excited about how these now come across
Well,
in this day and age.
Yeah, I mean, I can only use the instrument that I've got, but I can also, feel the sentimental side of it, the peace behind some of the songs, the quietness, the tenderness. You almost have to whisper some of these songs into your sweetheart's ear, and it works. These are beautiful, beautiful tracks. And then when you get the songs that really give you a license to let yourself go and be powerful, then that works in my favour too. So it's fun. It's fun music to sing. That's the thing.
Well, we've brought you here to the top floor at
Yeah.
BBC Radio Derby for one particular reason, because we're all set up. You brought your keyboard player with you.
Yeah, Ross
We've
Stanley
got
on piano.
We've got the
there you go.
microphone set up, and we'd love you to do a track from the album As Time Goes By. Which of those are you going to do?
I thought there's no better than the title track of the album. I thought I would do As Time Goes By.
Makes absolute sense. Right, you get ready.
Thank you.
And pleasure and a joy to introduce live from the top floor of BBC Radio Derby, Alfie Bow, As Time Goes By.
You must remember this. A kiss is just a kiss. A sigh is just a sigh. The fundamental things apply as time goes by. And when two lovers woo, they still say I love you. On that you can rely. No matter what the future brings as time goes by. Moonlight and love songs, never out of date. Hearts full of passion, jealousy and hate. Woman needs man, man must have his mate. That no one can deny. It's still the same old story. Fight for love and glory. Case of do or die. The world will always welcome lovers as time goes by. Moonlight and love songs, never out of date. Hearts full of passion, jealousy and hate. Woman needs man, man must have his mate. That no one can deny. Still the same story. Fight for love and glory. A case of do or die. The world will always welcome lovers as time goes by.
Wow, that was amazing. Alfie, come and sit down. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Steve.
Wow, that was fantastic. Were you happy with that performance?
Yeah,
Good.
I think it all went well.
Lovely.
Ross is a great piano player. We're going to be on tour together next year, and yeah, he rocks it out.
That's right, yeah, because you're going to Nottingham and Leicester.
We
in
are,
April.
yeah. We're going to be in there in April.
So I'm guessing back in the day, when the school said, right, we're going to put a choir together,
Yeah.
were you the first running to the door?
No.
With your name down? Really?
I
No,
wasn't,
not at
man.
all?
No, I wasn't in a school choir. I wasn't in a church choir. I didn't do anything like that as a kid.
I'm
no.
shocked.
Yeah, man, it was crazy. I was, I don't know. I was into my drumming. I was into my football and all that sort of stuff. So I was doing other things, but it wasn't until I was probably about 14, 15 that my mother said, you need a hobby because you're hanging around the house too much. So get out. And my sister was going to Amdram at the time, and she dragged me along one week, and that was where it all sort of started in a way. I got hooked, partly because there was a girl that I fancied that went there as well.
Always the way. Always the way.
But she never went out with me, by the way.
That's why I went to Sunday school.
Is that right?
Same reason. Yeah.
But I got hooked on the music, got hooked on singing, discovered that I had an ability to make some sort of noise. I didn't know if it was good or bad or how I was doing it, but I did it and I enjoyed it.
The story of how you actually got discovered is amazing.
Oh, thanks.
I'll let you tell it because it's a great story.
Well, it was funny. There's a few different things that happened around that time. I was working in the car factory. I was singing along to the radio, and a guy who was buying the car from the factory overheard me and said, you got a good voice. There's a company in London that are auditioning for people to join their chorus for their next tour. Go down, try it out. And I thought, that's not for me. You know, I've got my apprenticeship to concentrate on. So I tried to put it out of my mind for a while. Then I was having singing lessons with a friend of mine from Chorley, and he told me about this audition as well.
Uh-huh.
And I thought, that's twice in like a week that I've heard about this. And then he told me to get the newspaper, the stage and television. So I got that, opened up the first page, big advert for this audition that this guy at the factory had mentioned, my friend had mentioned, and I thought, there's three things telling me to do this. So I took the day off work, went down to London, got taken on. And that was me, a singer, professional singer after that. I went back, handed in my notice to the disgust of my foreman, who said, "You're an idiot. You know, you're on 75 quid a week here for for all the hours under the sun, and you're on a good job. And I don't know why you're leaving. Don't know why you're leaving. You don't want to be doing all this singing lark. You'll never make it." And he's probably right. I don't know.
That's kind of like I'm sure it's Billy Ocean who was working in a car plant, and he heard one of his records on the radio while he was at work, and he just downed tools and thought, right, I've made it now, and just left.
Is that right?
Yeah, I'm sure that's what he did. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow. Incredible.
He's done all right.
How do you look after your voice on a daily basis?
You know, one of the things that's the best thing for the voice is rest, is sleep. You know, it sounds very lazy, but that is the best thing for it. If you have your rest and you're not tired and your voice isn't tired, physically if you're not tired, then your voice isn't going to be tired. And that's really the best bit of advice I was ever given, is just to make sure you get your sleep.
Is it insured?
It is insured, yeah, it is, man.
How much for? How much
I
for?
can't tell you.
I thought I was going to get that out of you. Have you got any television over Christmas? Are you going to be popping up here and there on chat shows and stuff?
There's a little bit on there. For obviously promoting this album, there'll be a few things coming up. Off the top of my head, I can't remember because I'm living from day to day at the moment. It's all a bit mad. But yeah, I'll be doing some TV, a lot of TV next year as well. So you know.
Well, Alfie Boat, it's been a pleasure to have you here at BBC Radio
Thanks,
today.
Steve.
Thank you for coming in. Of course, the album, As Time Goes By, out on Friday and live in April next year in Nottingham and Leicester. Make sure you get your tickets. One final question before you go, and we'll play it as soon as you tell us what it is. What was the first record you ever bought? Can you remember?
Oh my word! Do you really want me to say this?
Oh, listen, whatever you tell me, we'll have had worse already.
Really?
Yeah.
I could say something really cool, but I'm going to say something. I'm going to be honest and make myself out to be a complete idiot and fool. It was Father Abraham's The Smurfs song. That was it. That was the first record I ever bought.
That means we've got to play it now. Pete, my producer, is wincing because we're now going to play this.
I'm sorry.
When you said it was bad, you weren't wrong. Alfie Bow, thank you for being here at BBC Radio
Cheers, Steve.
Derby. Superb.
Thank you.